The once powerful man was now reduced to a shadow of his former self, dependent on the woman he had tormented for so long. Many years ago, in the bustling town of Owerri, there lived a young man named Emery. Emery was a very successful businessman, owning several shops in the international market where he sold all types of Isiagu clothes, both wholesale and retail. He was known far and wide for his business acumen and wealth. Emery was married to a beautiful young woman named Agbonma, and together they had 3 children, 2 boys named Mezie and Kezi, and a girl named Chika. However, despite their seemingly perfect life, their home was not filled with joy and laughter. Emery loved his children dearly and spoilt them with gifts, always taking them shopping and ensuring that they had the best of everything. But the same could not be said about his relationship with Agbonma, his wife. To Emery, a wife was merely a childbearing machine, not a true family member. He mistreated Agbonma, his wife, showing her no love or affection. He never allowed her to eat with him at the dining table, insisting she must eat in the kitchen instead. "You are not part of this family, Agbonma," he would shout. "You are just a glorified housewife and house help, lucky to live under my roof." The constant humiliation left Agbonma in tears daily, with her children often comforting her, trying to bring some semblance of happiness into her life. Agbonma's life was one of constant sorrow and fear. Emery was quick to anger and would beat her at the slightest provocation. Even when Agbonma did everything possible to avoid upsetting him, Emery would find an excuse to hit her, claiming it annoyed him when he tried too hard to please him. "I don't like it when you pretend to be good just to avoid a beating," he would say to her. Before raising his hand against her, his abusive behavior became regular occurrence, and Agbonma lived her life walking on eggshells, trying to protect herself from Emery's wrath. Despite the mistreatment, Agbonma had nowhere to turn to. Her own parents had practically sold her to Emery just because of money when she was just 22, and they depended on him financially. Each time she sought refuge with them, they would bundle her back to Emery, apologizing on her behavior and urging him to discipline her as he could. "Thank you for allowing me to rule my home as I deem fit," Emery would tell them, slipping them into money in return. This cycle of abuse and abandonment left Agbonma feeling utterly hopeless, as she realized there was no escape from her torment. As the years passed, Emery and Agbonma's children grew older and more aware of the turmoil in their home. Mezie and Kezi and Chika had all become beautiful young individuals, deeply worried about their mother's well-being. The beatings and emotional abuse continued, with Emery showing no signs of changing his ways. One day, Mezie and Kezi confronted their father, asking why he treated their mother so poorly. "Dad, why do you always beat Mom as if she's a thief or as if she's a criminal or something?" Mezie asked, his voice filled with concern. Emery saw this as an opportunity to pass on his twisted beliefs. "My sons," he began, "a wife needs to be submissive. She needs to know her place. The only way to ensure that is by constant discipline. My father did the same with my mother, and she respected him until his dying day. But Maisie and Kezzy were not convinced. "No, Papa," Kezzy replied, "it's not right to beat her. She always has bruises and wounds. It's not fair." Despite their objections, Emery dismissed their concerns. Instead, he was insisting that they would understand when they were older. But Agbonma, overhearing this, quickly pulled her sons aside and urged them not to listen to their father's cruel words. Agbonma, despite her suffering, found strength in her love for her children. She warned Maisie and Kezzy not to follow their father's examples. "My sons, it is not normal for a man to beat his wife. It shows weakness, not strength. Your father treats me this way because he thinks it's right, but it is not. Promise me you will treat your future wives with love and respect," she pleaded, tears in her eyes. The boys, deeply moved, swore they would never be like their father. Chika, the eldest, was equally disturbed by her father's behavior. One day, she confronted Emery, her father, her voice trembling with anger. "Papa, how would you feel if my husband treated me the way you treat Mama?" she demanded. Emery, furious, told her to stay out of his marital affairs and subsequently beat Agbonma even more for inciting their children against him. Agbonma begged her children not to confront her father on her behalf, fearing his wrath. "Please, my children, do not fight for me. It only makes things worse. Focus on your studies and be successful. That is all I ask," she implored, her heart heavy with sorrow. The day finally came when Maisie, Kezzy, and Chika were to leave for their universities. As they packed their bags, there was a mixture of excitement and sadness. They were eager to escape the toxic environment, but worried about leaving their mother behind. Agbonma reassured them, though her heart ached at the thought of facing Emery alone. "Go and make me proud, my children," she told them. "Focus on your education and build a better life for yourselves. Don't worry about me. I will manage. I will definitely be fine." With her children gone, Agbonma's life became even more unbearable. Emery's abusive behavior continued. He still brought other women into their home, forcing Agbonma to cook for them while they mocked her. But Agbonma held to the hope that one day things would change. She often stood in front of the mirror, repeating to herself, "I will not be broken. I must take my revenge one very good day." These words gave her the strength to endure each day, waiting for the moment when she could finally break free from her husband's tyrant. Years passed, and Agbonma's children had all graduated. Maisie and Kezzy had relocated to the United States, and Chika was married with children, living in Lagos. Despite the distance, they frequently sent gifts and money to their mother, ensuring she was well taken care of. However, they never sent anything to their father. One day, Chika called her mother, pleading with her to leave Emery, her husband, and come live with her in Lagos. "Mama, you don't have to stay with Papa anymore. Come live with me," she urged. But Agbonma, her mother, refused, saying, "It's not yet time, my daughter. When it is, I will let you know." Then one fateful evening, while Agbonma was preparing dinner, Emery received a call that changed everything. 3 of his shops had burned to the ground. Emery dashed out of the house in panic, only to be caught in a robbery and shot in both legs and arms. The doctors later informed Agbonma that Emery would never walk again nor use his two hands. While Emery lay in the hospital devastated, Agbonma felt a strange mixture of emotions. She was saddened by his suffering but also saw it as the beginning of her long-awaited justice. When Emery was finally discharged from the hospital, he returned home a broken man, confined to a wheelchair. He called Mezie and Kezi, begging them for money to restart his business. "My sons, I need 10 million naira to start again. Life has hit me hard, but with your help, I can rebuild my business again," he pleaded. To his shock, they refused. "Dad, we are so sorry about what happened to you, but we can't give you the money. Mom instructed us not to, and after seeing how you treated her, we agreed with her," Mezie said. "Emery was heartbroken. After all I did for you, this is how you repay me?" He shouted, but his sons were unmoved. "We are sorry, Papa, but this is what we have decided," they replied. Desperate, Emery called Chika, hoping for a different response, but she too refused, saying, "Papa, I can't disobey Mama. You will not get a kobo, not even apple, from me." Emery couldn't believe his children had turned their backs on him. He was left with no choice but to rely on Agbonma, who had awaited years for this moment. With her children's support, Agbonma began to take control of her household. Emery, once the lord of the house, was now at her mercy. Each day, she made him do the housework, even though he was in the wheelchair, washed dishes and cleaned the house. Then, before doing this, his hands were already okay, but just that he couldn't use his legs, all under Agbonma's control and watchful eyes. When she ate, she sat at the dining table, enjoying her meals, while Emelie watched hungrily, waiting for the leftovers. Emery's life had turned into a living nightmare. The once powerful man was now reduced to a shadow of his former self, dependent on the woman he had tormented for so long. He tried to report Agbonma to their children, hoping they would intervene, but they only mocked him, reminding him of his own words. "It's not our place to interfere in your marital problems, Dad." Emery realized he was truly alone, with no one to turn to. He was now paying the price for years of cruelty and abuse. As time went on, Agbonma's life improved. She took up hobbies, joined social groups, and even started a small business, selling fabrics. She was finally living her life on her own terms, free from Emery's oppression. She often reflected on her past and the long journey to reclaiming her life. Her children visited often, showering her with love and affection, making up for the years of suffering she had endured. Emery, on the other hand, continued to decline. His health worsened, and he became increasingly bitter and resentful. He spent his days in solitude, lamenting his fate. The man who once commanded respect and fear was now a pitiful figure, dependent on the very person he had sought to break. But Agbonma was not moved by his plight. She had suffered enough and was determined to enjoy the rest of her life. The tables had turned, and she was finally at peace, knowing that she had triumphed over her oppressors. Emery's health continued to deteriorate. He would often call out for Agbonma, seeking her help and company, but she would only attend to his needs out of obligation, not affection. The bitterness in his heart grew as he realized that he was now reaping what he had sown. Agbonma, please forgive me, he would say, but his words fell on deaf ears. Agbonma had long since made peace with her past and was no longer interested in his apologies. In his final days, Emery reflected on his life and the choices he had made. He realized too late that his actions had alienated the people who should have cared for him the most. His children visited occasionally, but their visits were short and filled with awkward silence. Emery knew he had lost their respect and love. As he lay in bed, he often thought about his father's words and how he had blindly followed in his footsteps, perpetuating a cycle of abuse. It was a bitter pill to swallow, but it was the reality he had created for himself. After Emery's passing, Agbonma felt a sense of liberation. She was free from the man who had caused her so much pain and suffering. She focused on her children and grandchildren, imparting wisdom and love. She often told them stories of her life, emphasizing the importance of kindness, respect, and love in relationships. Never let anyone make you feel less than you are, she would say, and always stand up for what is right no matter the cost. Agbonma's story became a source of inspiration for many women in Owerri. She joined women's group and became an advocate for victims of domestic violence, using her own experience to help others find their strength and voice. She was determined to ensure that no woman would ever have to endure what she had. Her resilience and encouragement became a beacon of hope for many, and she was often invited to speak at events and workshops, sharing her journey. As Agbonma continued her advocacy work, she found joy in the little things in life. She loved spending time with her grandchildren, teaching them to cook and telling them stories about their heritage. Her relationship with her children grew stronger, and they often expressed their admiration for her strength and resilience. "Mama, you are the strongest person I know," Chika would often say, hugging her tightly. This moment of love and appreciation filled Agbonma's heart with joy and contentment. The years of suffering had not been in vain. Agbonma had turned her pain into power, creating a new legacy for her family and community. She was a living testament to the strength of the human spirit, showing that it is possible to rise above adversity and create a better future. Her story was a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is always hope and the possibility of change. Agbonma had found her voice and purpose, and she was determined to make a difference in the world. Agbonma's influence extended beyond her family. Her advocacy work began to make significant changes in Owerri. She partnered with local organizations to provide support for women facing violence, domestic violence, offering them resources and safe havens. Her story was featured in local newspapers and radios, bringing attention to the issue of domestic abuse and inspiring many to take stand. "We must protect our women," she would say in her speeches. "They are the backbone of our society." Her efforts were recognized by the local government, and she was awarded several accolades for her contribution to the community. Agbonma remained humble, always crediting her children and the support of her community for her success. She continued to work tirelessly, organizing workshops and seminars, and providing counseling for women in need. Her home became a sanctuary for many, a place where they could find comfort and support. Agbonma's legacy was one of the strength, compassion, and unwavering determination to make the world a better place. In her later years, Agbonma often reflected on her journey. She would sit in her garden, surrounded by her blooming flowers, and think about the life she had lived. She had faced unimaginable hardships, but she had also experienced immense love and joy. She had watched her children grow into strong, compassionate individuals, and she had seen her grandchildren thrive. Agbonma knew that she had made a difference not just in her own life, but in the lives of many others. She often shared her reflections with her family, teaching them valuable lessons about resilience, forgiveness, and the importance of standing up for yourself. Life is not always fair, she would say, but we have the power to change our circumstances. Never let anyone dim our light or your light. Her words resonated deeply with her family, and they carried her wisdom with them in their own lives. Agbonma's story was a testament to the power of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, one can find strength and hope. Despite the pain Emery has caused her, Agbonma found it in her heart to forgive him. She understood that holding on to anger and resentment would only weigh her down. Forgiveness was not about absolving Emery of his action, but about freeing herself from the burden of hate. She often spoke about the importance of forgiveness in her advocacy work, encouraging others to let go of their pain and find peace. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself, she would say. It allows you to move forward and find happiness. This perspective helped many women in Owerri who were struggling with their own experience of abuse. Agbonma's ability to forgive and find peace was a powerful example of healing and resilience. It showed that it was possible to overcome even the most traumatic experiences and create a life filled love and purpose. Her story was a guiding light for them, reminding them of the importance of standing up for what is right and never letting adversity define them. Her family and community came together to honor her. They organized a celebration of her life, highlighting her contribution and the impact she had made. The event was filled with heartfelt speeches, celebrating the remarkable woman she was. Agbonma was deeply moved. Agbonma passed away peacefully. Her family mourned her loss, but celebrated her life. Agbonma's legacy lived through on their families. Agbonma's name became synonymous with strength, resilience, and compassion, a lasting reminder of the power of human spirit, a lasting tribute to a remarkable woman who had changed the world. Thank you so much for watching this story. Please kindly drop your thoughts in the comment section and also drop an encouraging word in the comment section. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share this story to your loved ones and your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and until I bring another story your way, bye.